What's good, you guys? I hope you guys are all having a great start to your week. It's a holiday week. We've got a bit of a short one, but I know we've had a great start here at the floor. Beautiful few trades today. We did take one stop loss, unfortunately, but other than that, we had two beautiful trades, a quick scalp on AMD, and about a little over $5 push on Meta. So great way to start the week. I don't know how many of you guys are in here. How many of you guys in here are in the floor? Okay, while we're waiting for the response, I'm gonna go ahead and move on here. But yeah, I don't know if you guys were able to catch it with me or not. I posted all those trade ideas this morning on my threads in the Discord, and yeah, Discord gets it first always. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over those trades that we took today. So AMD, I was looking at, let's see, sorry. I was looking at 209.12 originally. I didn't end up taking this at 209.12 because we pretty much just pushed straight up here, and I was not trying to get into kind of an overextended move, in my opinion, at that point in time, just because the market was selling off so much. But my next level was at 212.07. So 212.07 right here at 947 is when we ended up taking this, I believe. Give me just a second to confirm that. Yeah, 947 we ended up taking this. Bought the 220 calls here. Sold basically on the break of 212.50. So we actually got peak sell at that point in time. So pretty good sell there. Super quick scalp. It was literally within a minute of entry. And then the next trade we took was on Meta. Meta, we were pushing up here to this 606.72 level that I was watching this morning. I did end up taking it on this 949 candle. Ended up stopping out on the very next candle here at 950. We broke below this 604.11 level that we had just previously set. So when we broke below 604, I ended up taking my position off there. I was about to say taking profits, but ended up stopping out there as we came down into 604. Then I ended up retaking this at 951 as we were coming back up above 605. We pretty much got our entry at 605, and then I did not get rid of my final position until 10 o'clock flat. I sold a quarter on the 953 candle. So as we broke above 608, I said a quarter, a third. Jeez, I can't get my words right today. I sold a third here on the 608 break. I sold another third at 958. So what was this? It was above 609. So on the break above 609, pretty close to 609.50. I sold another third, and then my final third I sold on the break of 610. My contracts were taking absolutely forever to get filled today. Don't know what the problem was, but yeah, they were taking way too long. So I actually clicked sell on the 610 break, but it pulled back by the time I got filled. So I really technically got filled at right around 609.85 for my final sell. But it was a great bunch of trades here. AMD and both the Meta trades ended up being 27.51% in return. So I think that's pretty solid to start off the week. Happened to me also, sold around 613. Yeah, that's weird, Derek. I will say Meta is kind of like that sometimes. Like Meta contracts do take a minute to get filled, even when they have decent volume. And it's really random when it happens, but it does happen sometimes. And I feel like that's one of the only stocks that I consistently have that problem with while it has just a good amount of volume, really. I think this is really one of the only stocks that I consistently have that issue with. So anyways, great couple of trades we had this morning. Great way to start off the week. They got to fill my one contract first. See, that might be the problem. They were too busy worrying about selling your one contract that they couldn't sell mine. That makes sense. That makes sense. But anyways, guys, if you're new here, welcome in. We're going to go through my watch list from A to Z, go over what I like for tomorrow and the rest of the week, even though we don't really have that much of the rest of the week. We really have... I'll actually go ahead and pull up the calendar for you guys too. We really have tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday market is closed and Friday is a half day. I really don't think that I'm going to be trading on Friday. Obviously, I'm going to be there pre-market for the chat, but I really don't want to take any trades on Friday. And my reasoning for that is it's probably going to be pretty low volume. It's a half day. And it's the end of the week, so we pretty much have Friday on Wednesday, and then we have like the last half of the day on Friday is essentially what we're doing there. So it's gonna be interesting, to say the least. It's gonna be interesting. And if we have any setups that are just absolutely insane that I'm really excited for on Friday, then maybe I will take a trade. But other than that, I highly doubt that I'm going to be trading on Friday. It's just risk city, and I'm not loving it. So anyways, guys, calendar for tomorrow. We have PPI pre-market. We have consumer confidence at 10, business inventories at 10, pending home sales at 10. So we have a lot of 10 o'clock news tomorrow. Other than that, everything is pre-market. And then Wednesday, we have Chicago PMI 15 minutes into open, new home sales at 10, personal income and outlays at 10, and petroleum status report at 10:30. So really 15 minutes in and 30 minutes in on Wednesday is when you want to be paying attention to that. So that's what we have news-wise. And then Friday, we have nothing, I don't think. Yeah, we don't have anything on Friday. And then as far as earnings go, we have ZM after close today. So that's one that I want to check out just to see if it possibly did anything. I haven't traded ZM in so long, and ZM is one of those that's just no contract volume all the time. A couple of the earnings I am watching out for this week, though, are Dell and maybe Dell is it, actually. ZM I'm looking at by default because it's in the watch list, but I think Dell is the only other one that I'm looking at this week. So anyways, that's what we've got on the calendar. Before we forget, because I always skip over ZM, let's go ahead and just take a look and see if it even went. Okay, yep, nope, I'm good. I'm good. All right, starting off here at the top of the watch list, Apple actually does not look bad here at 277.15. I kind of like this. Depending on where we open tomorrow, I could definitely see myself taking this. Have pretty easy room up to 278, and then next resistance here is at 278.45. So we've got over $1 of really easy room actually, which is going to pay on Apple. So yeah, I'll go ahead and mark Apple. Next up, Airbnb, I'm all good. AMD, yeah, I'll pass on that. Amazon is coming up to a resistance here, but I really am not a big fan of trading Amazon anymore. It does look good though. The setup itself looks good. We'll go ahead and mark it and just see. If there's nothing else that looks good, then it can probably make its way onto the watch list. But if it is outshined by something else, I'm definitely going to be not paying attention to it. AVGO I like up here at 391.98. Obviously that's the all-time high, so that's going to be on watch for sure. EA VA actually had decent contract volume today. Down here at 176.77 looks nice. Thoughts on Hood? I saw your watch list had puts but shot up this morning. Hood. Did I have Hood on the watch list this morning? Let's see. Oh yeah. I haven't looked at Hood since pre-market. That was one of those. I don't know, Derek, are you in the chat or are you not in the chat? Are you just on Threads? Just on Threads. Okay, yeah. So in pre-market review this morning, I was talking about Hood, and I liked Hood if we came down in the markets. If we sold off in the markets and if Hood stayed weak, I liked Hood. But my levels are, I don't know if you trade my trade ideas. I don't know if you actually take those or if you just look at them, but my levels are not levels to expect to happen. They are reactionary levels. So it's not like I'm predicting that a stock is going to go here and then it's going to go here and then it's going to go here. My trade ideas are written out as this is the level that if it gets to it, then I will react to that by either taking a position or skipping the play, one of the two. So yes, I was looking at downside, but it never even came remotely close to my entry level. So I didn't end up taking anything on that. And I don't take very many trades. I know I post a lot of trade ideas in the mornings, but I really don't take that many trades. So usually I pick my favorite out of all of my trade ideas and then I stick with that. This morning just happened to be, I really liked Meta. Meta was my favorite by far, and AMD just happened to come first. So Google is ripping still. That's insane. I don't even know what to look at on Google. I said that this morning as well. I was like, well, the pre-market high is really the only thing I can write down for Google, but I don't think I'm going to take it there. And yeah, we ripped. And then we sold off, continued to push for the rest of the day, and then ripped crazy after hours again. If I was a gambler, I would be holding calls. But I'm not a gambler. INTC, I'm all good. KO, I will pass. Meta, I really like 617.65. Meta has a lot of room up after that. After 617.65, I want to see, probably need the 10-day 5-minute. $617.65. Okay, yeah, we have a lot of room up here. Oh, my 20 call. Yeah, Tony, that'll go great right until the time that it doesn't, and then you blow your whole entire account. That's the thing. That's the thing with swing trades when you're trading options. There's so much that can happen after hours that you just have absolutely no control over. Can't even get out if you want to. So let's just see here. I want to see. All right. That is realistically probably as far as I'm going to be. As far as I would be holding that. Sorry, guys. All right, 617.65. I do like on Meta. We've got super easy room up to 620. So that is a great bare minimum target there, would be 620. Above 620, I'm happy on that, to be honest with you. Microsoft coming back down to lows from Friday. 468.27 looks really nice if we get back down here. We're a few dollars away right now. MSTR at low of day from Friday also looks good. I don't think I would take this. It doesn't look bad to the upside, actually. Yeah, I actually like MSTR to both directions there. NVIDIA, I am just now getting to it, Derek. I personally think NVIDIA looks disgusting here. This looks like straight chop, and I want nothing to do with that. This is a no chop, no BS week for me. I want nothing to do with gross looking setups. Okay, let's see here. Do you have a specific level you were looking at on NVIDIA, Derek, or did you just want me to look at the stock? Because if you have a specific level, I'll take a closer look, but just overall how the stock looks right now, I want nothing to do with it. Tesla, I don't even know. Same thing with Tesla and Google. I don't even know what to think about Tesla right now. Because really, I mean, if we took it at high of day from today, I would not be surprised at all if we rejected about 60 cents higher than where our high of day is right now. But it also looks decent if you're just focusing on today. With Tesla, there's not really anywhere to target on this other than Friday's high, which is a little far away. Like I personally would not expect myself to be holding for that big of a move. So Tesla, I'll probably put Tesla on the side watch just as a leave it up in the air kind of thing. And then pre-market, I'll have my actual plan for it. But we have a decent amount here. We have Apple, Amazon, AVGO, BA, Meta, Microsoft, MSTR, and Tesla. That's a pretty solid watch list there. Let's go ahead and get into... Ooh, that's not what I was trying to do. No, can't do that either. Great. All right. There we go. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into making the actual watch list here. Why do I have so many of these scratch pads here? Just want the one. Thank you. Okay. So let's see. First off, Apple. Apple, I'm going to be looking at the 277.15 flat top for a breakout. Targeting a move to the 278 break. After that, we have easy room to 278.45. Anything higher than that, I will just be targeting momentum. Looking for a possible early entry at 277. What's up, Nicole? I remember if I was looking at a TP of 186. Sorry, watching on my phone. Oh, you're good, Derek. I'll go back and check that as we get down in the watch list again. Don't let me forget. Okay, that's what I've got for Apple there. Next up, Amazon. Amazon looking to make a recovery on the higher time frames. Looking at 288, I'm sorry, 228.07 for a breakout, targeting a move to the 230 break. What's up, Tony? All right, we got people joining in now. All right, AVGO. Looking at the 391.98 all-time high for a breakout. I don't even know. Probably just targeting momentum on this. And let's see. I want to see if we have anything that I might be interested in. Also, looking at the 386.02 after hours high for a possible early entry / scalp. There we go. Okay, BA. BA hasn't been on the watch list in a while, but BA looking at the low of day from Friday at 176.77 for a breakdown, targeting momentum below the 176 break. Let's see if we have anything else that we can target here below 176. Ooh, no. All right, buddy. There we go. 176. Then I want to extend that to the left. Okay, below 176, we have 175.24. And below that, we have a decent amount of room down. 172.80. Okay. And we have a 30-minute trend. Beautiful. Okay. Below this, we have room to the next support on the 4-hour at 175.24. 175 break. Then the 173.98 30-minute downtrend. All right, there's BA. Meta 617.65. Okay. Meta looking at the 617.65 resistance, targeting a break of, well, looking for a move into the 620 break, targeting the next resistance at 620.37. Above this, we have room to the next resistances at 621.33, 622.68, then 623.68. Wait, what's up? That's a great question. That's a great question, Tony. When are you doing that? Also, I don't think you guys know how long I've spent at this desk today editing content. Just for y'all. You have a camera. You have a phone. Almost the entirety of that Panama City vlog was filmed on an iPhone. Microsoft looking at the 468.27 flat bottom. This was Friday's low day. After the sell-off in the morning. Okay. Targeting a break below 468, then looking for momentum into 466. There we go. All right, MSTR. Looking at the 181.19 consolidation high for a breakout, targeting a move to the 185 break. Above this, we have room all the way up to 190. And then also MSTR, looking at the 166 flat bottom slash consolidation low, targeting a break to the 165 break. Below this, we have room down to 160. Nicole, it doesn't even have to be that. It just be day in the life of Nicole. Also happened to trade. Exactly. Exactly. That's a fantastic idea. I wish I would have done that in the start. I really do. Okay. And then last but not least, here we have Tesla to be determined. All right, we're gonna make a side watch section down here. We're gonna figure out, I guess really Tesla is the only thing that would go in the side watch. I really like all these setups. Okay. All right, well, in that case, Apple is upside, Amazon is upside, AVGO is upside, BA is downside, Meta upside, Microsoft downside, MSTR upside, and MSTR downside. I agree with that. I agree with that, Tony. All right. That is what I've got. And then what did I delete Tesla? I did. To be determined. And Tesla will go ahead. Sweet. All right, so that is my watch list for tomorrow and possibly even Wednesday, depending on if or when we get these setups. But we have about 25 minutes left here if you guys want to turn this into a little Q&A session. So I'll go ahead and move my face for a second and make this bigger. So those of you that are not in the chat, join, can screenshot this and save it and use it to your advantage. And if you do want to join, first link in the description there gives you a 3-day free trial. But yeah, guys, we've got about 25 minutes left. So if we have any questions, feel free to get those ready and ask those. And I'm Super happy to sit here and answer your questions for as long as I need to sit here. All right, surely that was enough time for you guys to screenshot that. Is the watch list going on Threads or in the Discord? It's going in the Discord, Derek. I always post my watch list on Thread. I feel like I give a little bit too much away there because, you know, I feel like a lot of people just use that. But I'm a nice guy, so you guys can have it for free. But yeah, I am going to post my watch list in the morning. I always post my watch list in the morning on Threads. I stopped for a little while, but I picked it back up because I really don't know why I stopped other than just not doing it. I think that's really it. I just didn't do it. But no, the watch list goes in the Discord every single day, regardless. And then, let's see. You asked about AMD, or not AMD, NVIDIA earlier. I will... Okay, you said 168, I believe. Right? Oh, 186, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I trade breakouts. I don't really trade bounces. Well, I trade bounces and rejections, but they're all like intraday trades. I don't hold for long enough for me to be interested in anything down here for a target of 186. I would look at 184.56 maybe for a breakout and then target 186 if that's what you're looking at, Derek. But I don't trade. I don't trade, or I don't take long enough trades. Sorry, I don't take long enough trades to where I would be buying somewhere down here and then having a $7 target on $180 stock. And then let's see. For a beginner, would you advise focusing on momentum or fair value gap? So I actually like fair value gaps. I don't trade them very often. I have signaled a few fair value gap trades, bounces or rejections or whatever. And I like them, but I actually think that you have to be way more, I don't want to say way more on top of reading price action. You have to be able to read price action regardless, but like you've got to really be able to read price action in order to safely take those types of trades. So in order for you to be able to play fair value gap trades, you're gonna need to know how to read momentum regardless. So I guess by default, I would advise focusing on momentum. I don't know if that helps. What's your average stop loss percent? I actually don't know, JT. They're so varied because all of my trades are based on a risk to reward standpoint. So as long as the risk to reward on the trade makes sense, the percentage is not as big of a deal. So sometimes my stop losses are super, super tight. They're like 5% or less just because that's where the stop loss on the chart lines up. And then sometimes they're 20, 25% on a Friday. I mean, that takes hardly any move at all if you're trading a stock with any spread at all. So they're so varied. I would say probably like the 13 to 14% range, if I'm being honest. I know that's probably not the number you want to hear, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to your face and say, you know, super tight stop loss is always 100% of the time happening. I actually talked about this in a lesson the other day. I think it was Friday's lesson. I was talking about this. If you are trading with like super ridiculously tight stop losses, you are gonna get smoked. Unless you have, you know, if you have an account above PDT, like far above PDT, and you have the ability to literally enter and exit with, you know, maximum 2% losses, then you can trade with super tight stop losses like that. But for the vast majority of people, you're going to get smoked trying to have a 5-6% stop loss every single time, because you're going to get stopped out damn near every time you enter a trade just in the spreads. So you'll hear people say, you know, 10% is a number that I hear a lot. I always revert to 10%. 10% is a number that I hear a lot. Even if you're trying to trade with a 10% stop loss, you're getting smoked. Absolutely getting smoked. It's just not, it's not real. Like, you're not going to make it very far doing that. You actively utilize time and sales. I see some other gurus have it up but don't use it. I use it, but not, I don't really need to look at much on time and sales. So time and sales is actually the easiest thing to learn, because it is literally looking at colors and how fast it's moving. That is the extent that I use time and sales for. And it's literally just to read momentum. So when I'm looking at time and sales, yes, I'm looking at time and sales in every single trade that I'm in. I'm always looking at time and sales. However, when I'm looking at time and sales, I'm not reading all the numbers. I'm not reading the price. I'm not reading the size all the time. I mean, if I see a big number that stands out, obviously I'm going to notice that. But the majority of the reason that I'm using time and sales is literally to look at the color and how fast it's moving. How often do you anticipate levels? Every single time I take a trade. Yeah. Anticipating levels is, yeah, that's a every single trade type of thing there, JT. All right. Do we have any more questions here? I like that we've had some so far. That's good. That's good. Usually you guys are like radio silent. I don't know if it's because you actually don't have any questions, or if you're like, if you think your question's going to sound dumb. There's no dumb question. So even if you think you have a dumb question, it's probably not that dumb, because there's a lot of questions to have when it comes to trading. Sometimes I'm too shy to ask questions. That's a ridiculous statement. When have I ever done anything as far as answering a question goes to make anybody feel like they can't ask one? Now I feel like you gotta ask questions at every lesson now. I'm gonna like double check with you and make sure that you definitely don't have any. Yeah, you gotta get over that. You gotta get over that ASAP. Good. All right, guys, if we don't have any more questions here, I'm going to give it just a second, just in case anybody's in the middle of typing one right now. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Should I take a % profit out of the account as I make more profit? And if so, around how much earnings would you recommend? Okay, so Tony, I think that it is literally 100% up to you. Do I think that you should? I do, because I got stuck in a trap for a very, very, very long time of getting way too focused on the account balance. Like way laser focused. I wanted to hit this goal. At that point in time, it was PDT. I literally was setting myself back every single time that I would get close to PDT. I would literally just do dumb shit to get about the same distance away that I was before. So like, if I was at, let's say I was at 20, I could get to 24,999 and I would set myself back to 20 just trying to get above 25. So like, it's one of those things that you have to, I think once you take out even a small amount, like if you go literally take out enough to go buy yourself an energy drink or like a Starbucks, whatever, I don't know. I drink energy drinks, so that's my go-to. But anyways, even if you take out just that little bit, it's going to be helpful for your mindset to not get so stuck and so fixated on that balance amount. And I think in turn that helps you grow, because that was something that it took me a very long time to get over that, like way too long. And it was just because I was doing stupid things just to get to that next step up. So if I just kept doing what I was doing and wasn't paying attention to that or didn't really care about that, it would have been no different than any other day. But I would just do stupid things to get to that next step up, and I would always set myself back. So yeah, I think that it's a good idea to take some out every now and then. It doesn't have to be every day or every week. And as far as how much, really doesn't matter. It could be small, it could be big, whatever you're feeling. But it's good to remember that it is, that it's not just a game. Like that's the problem that I would have in my head, is it literally turned into a game. The numbers didn't mean anything. It was just, how big can I make this number? So like up until that point, I literally had never taken anything out ever, just because I was just trying to grow. So I was super fixated on that. Like I'm sure that you can understand what I'm saying here, even if it's not to that amount or that degree yet. It's super easy to literally let it turn into a video game in your head, which is the last thing you want to do. How do you go about finding your setups every morning? JT, I don't know, have you been in this stream the whole time, or did you just join up? Because the method that I use to find my setups every morning is the same exact method that I use to find my setups throughout this stream. So I'm looking for support and resistance levels, and really that's the main thing that I'm looking for, actually. I mean, I use supply and demand zones, I use fair value gaps, I use all that stuff. I don't draw all of them out because I don't need that much stuff on my charts, but I'll mark a couple levels just to remember where certain things are. Sometimes I will draw the zones out, and that's helpful. That's all like sprinkles on top. But the main thing that I'm looking for is support and resistance levels, which are super, super simple. You are literally looking for peaks and valleys on the stock. Every peak is a resistance, every valley is a support. If it's been passed through, if it's been broken, then that peak or that valley doesn't mean anything anymore to me. So this right here, this is a peak. But if you look, if you go to draw a line on this, it's already been broken. This used to be a resistance. It's already been broken. Now, it may still act as a resistance. It may still have some form of selling pressure here between this area. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it did. However, this is not a level that I would be looking at to take a trade on because it has already been broken. The way I always try and explain it is basically if you pop a balloon, that balloon's popped. You can't pop it again. Does that make sense? It's kind of the same thing with the support and resistance levels. Yes, I know that resistance and support levels, even when they have been broken, will still have some degree of importance. Like this level, I'm sure when we get up here on Tesla tomorrow, if we get up here on Tesla tomorrow, just actually mark this on your chart. Mark out 424.18 on Tesla on your chart. Now, I want you to watch how this reacts tomorrow. It's not going to be the same as a breakout level would be unless we are carrying on momentum from Tesla's high of daybreak. If we're carrying on momentum from high of daybreak on Tesla into this, then it's probably just going to go right through. But you're probably going to notice, if we're not carrying on that momentum, you're probably going to notice that this level still has a little bit of hesitance when we're moving through it. Now, the further and further we go on from that, the less and less it's going to matter. So, you know, maybe 3 months from now, when we've passed through this area 100 times, then it's really not going to matter that much at all. So the only reason that I say this one is probably still going to have some form of reaction is because when we broke on Tesla, yes, we did make a new high by $4, but we ended up coming back down and just absolutely tanking for the rest of the day. So we never really held above this level on the larger time frames. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling now, sorry. The main thing I'm looking for is support and resistance levels. If the support and resistance level has already been broken, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I'm not going to look at it for an entry level. I'm usually not going to look at it for a target. And then as far as my targets go, it's pretty simple still. I target other support and resistance levels that are past my entry level. I target the ends of fair value gaps, the starts and ends of fair value gaps. I target psychological levels. So I use a lot of things for my targets. The targets are important, but they don't have to be as dialed in as the entries do, because the entries are really where you're getting the most of your money from. Even though I know you need to have the rest of the move, you need to hit your target, all that good stuff. Your entry is important because that is where you're basically deciding, am I in a safe spot right now to be in a position on this stock? Like, is this a safe spot for me to just now be taking a position? I know I'm not risking too much. I know that I'm looking for a solid risk to reward on the trade. The level means something, so it should have a decent reaction and get pretty far away from this level as quickly as possible right after it breaks. That's why the entries have to be so dialed and have to be so important here. And the targets, you can rely on other things like whole numbers and trends and supply zones, demand zones, fair value gaps, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for, JT. That's what I'm looking for. On Celsius addiction. There you go. There you go. Let's see, guys. Yeah, do we have any more questions here before we wrap it up? We've got about 4 minutes, 3 minutes here till the stream is donezo. When adding to your watch list, how do you find new stocks? Or does it remain the same? So I've had this watch list since 2020. There's been a couple things on here that have been added over the past 5 years. But other than that, everything is exactly the same as 2020. So I don't really add stocks to my watch list. The reason that I have these stocks in this watch list in the first place is because these are all the stocks that have volume, enough volume for me to trade on a daily basis. And, even then, we still struggle to find volume sometimes on a decent amount of these stocks. So, all these stocks that I have in my watch list are the highest volume that I can consistently look at on a daily basis. And I don't like adding random things to my watch list because the more you understand how a stock moves, they all move differently. They all move a little bit differently. So, getting to know how Tesla moves and getting to know how Meta and MSTR and AVGO, getting to know how all those stocks move individually gives you even more of an edge on your strategy already because you're used to how those stocks move. You know typically how they react at certain levels and with news and with whatever. And it just gives you that much more of an edge to execute with. So if you're trading a bunch of random stocks all the time, this is why I quit trading penny stocks in the first place when I was a kid. I was a kid when I was trading penny stocks. But even though I was making money with it, I was like, realistically in my head, I don't know how long this can actually go on for because it's like random stock, random company you've never heard of. The stock is pretty much worthless. The company's pretty much worthless. Every day you're trading something that you've never heard of before. And then after that, it's gone and you're never going to see it again. That's part of the reason why I quit because it was like, I don't know how long this can actually go on for. All these stocks, and okay, sorry to backtrack here. You can't get to learn any of those stocks because they're there for a day max, and then it's like, okay, after that, never seeing it again. So you really don't know what to expect. With all these, I pretty much know what to expect. And that just comes from having the same watch list for a long period of time. So yeah, I don't really add to my watch list often. If I do, it's usually because something has earnings and it's got a decent amount of volume at that point in time. And then usually I'll check back on it a couple weeks later. The volume's all fizzled out, and then I take it back off the watch list because the only reason that I would put it on there in the first place is in hopes that we have consistent volume. And typically we don't, which is why it wasn't on the watch list in the first place. Also, guys, I'm going to do a quick plug. And this is just because I spent so long today editing content that when I post content and I see it perform like dog, makes me want to not make content. So follow me on Instagram, please, and like and comment on my posts and stuff like that to make me feel like my hours sitting at my desk for no reason are worthwhile. It'd be much appreciated. And also, if you want to trade live with me and the team, click the first link down here. There's a 3-day free trial. Use it. Even if you don't stay, if you don't like it and you don't want to hear my voice again, you can leave with no repercussion. But it is free, so you might as well use it. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at KeithTrades. You're probably already following me on Threads. That's where like the majority of you guys in the chat even came from in the first place. But Instagram, Threads, at KeithTrades. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you, Ward. I appreciate it. But all right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'm going to pop this watch list up one more time here for any of you guys that didn't get it the first time. Screenshot this, use it to your advantage, you know, do what you want to do with it. Screenshot it, throw it in the garbage if you want. I don't really care. But there it is. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Everybody be safe. I'll talk to you first thing in the morning for pre-market review at 9 a.m. Eastern. First link in the description.